Hello, everybody. Brother Speak of the Brother Speak podcast. This is just a reaction to the live stream BMT just did, and we was having a discussion on the school system, and and I brought up a story, uh, and which goes to the fact that some of these teachers are showing favoritism, especially to some of these bullies. So there was a situation where a coworker was telling me about her son. He was getting bullied by this boy, and the boy was bigger than him. Now, this dude's been a known bully. They known this dude was bullying these kids. So he went to go after my coworker's son. Now, the coworker's son was smaller than him. So to defend himself, he picked up a chair and busted this kid's head open. Now, what ultimately happened was they was trying to suspend her son, but they wasn't going to suspend the other kid. She was like, "No, that if he started the fight, they should get the same equal amount of punishment," which I agree with. But you got people on BMT's panel saying, "No, that ain't the case." Well, the teachers, that's not life. That's not life. Well, it's like, okay, so teachers get to show favoritism now. These teachers are authority figures. You can't show favoritism to one kid over the other. And then it was the teacher and the principal too. You can't show favoritism for one kid over the other just because you like this kid or you're afraid of them. If that's the case, these teachers and principals shouldn't be in the school. It's not about treating everybody fairly. It's enforcing the rules equally. I'm not saying you treat every kid fairly, give everyone a prize and all kinds of that goofy stuff. No, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying if you're going to have rules and you're going to be authority figure, then you have to apply the rules fairly to everyone. That's where I'm coming with. And a lot of times these kids is getting bullied. A lot of these teachers are showing favoritism to the bully. They don't even like the damn kid who getting bullied. And if you got teachers like that, what you think these kids are gonna do? They're gonna defend themselves. They ain't getting no help. Now, I'm not saying that they should just be running to the teacher at every situation. No, I do think the kids need to defend themselves. But at the same time, if it's something they can't handle, the teacher's supposed to handle that. What's the point of you being there as an authority figure? You supposed to keep the school under control as a teacher. If you can't do that, why are you there? That's part of your job. Like, I work in corrections. One of the things they teach us is being firm, fair, and consistent. You have to be consistent and you have to lay the rules down the same for everybody. Like, I've had offenders fight in front of me. Guess what? I had to write up both. Even the one that started the fight, I had to write him up. The one that ended the fight, I had to write him up. I didn't want to write the guy up. I actually liked the guy. He was cool with me, and I never had a problem with him. And I understand that dude, that the goofball that started the fight was an asshole. He always caused problems. But guess what I still had to do? I had to write the case for both. You know? And like I said, the rules got to be applied equally. Now, I'm not saying that the the punishment, but you can't just have one side, especially the one who's the one that started and get less punishment than the person that ended it. That's how that goes. You're in a fight situation, shit happens. If home home dude started the fight and I punch him in the face and his eye socket get broke and his eye fall out, oh well, sucks to be you. But that don't mean that the person that started the fight get no punishment and the person that ended the fight gets all the punishment. That's not how life works. But it seemed like on that panel, they were literally saying, well, teachers should show favoritism. Well, the one who broke out the chair, well, they get all the punishment. The person that started the fight get nothing. I'm like, where in the world does that make sense? I can't even do that in the prison. Well, I'm with killers, murderers, rape, the R word, molesters, all that kind of stuff from all types of crimes. If I can't even do that there, how the fuck can a teacher can do that in the school? They're supposed to be authority figures. Punishment is supposed to be given out equally. If the fighting is no tolerance for fighting, then everybody gets the same punishment. You can't suspend one kid and don't suspend the other kid. That shows favoritism. So especially if the one getting bullied and he defends himself getting suspended and the bully gets nothing, that shows favoritism. And the teachers and the principal, the ones in authority, can't do that. What are you saying? Well, they're human. I don't give a fuck. Once you take that position of authority, you lose that ability to do so. If I'm not in a position of authority, I'm not expecting students not to show favoritism because they're students. But you as a teacher shouldn't. Just because either the bully, you scare the bully, or you like the bully. I'm like, no, you don't like the other kid? That's some bullshit. Those teachers need to be fired. That principal need to be fired. And if you're not going to suspend them and let them fight, which, let kids fight. And whoever wins, wins. I do believe in that. I do believe that parents should be teaching their kids to defend themselves and support them if they do get suspended. If they get suspended, hey, I remember my coworker, her son got suspended. She was right there supporting. She gave him a pat in the back. Hey, you did what you're supposed to do. I don't believe in like no fighting because you get punished. It's like there's some situations you can't afford to fight. It's just there's no way to avoid fighting. Like it's just like in the prison. I can't get mad and say, well, I got to defend myself. I said, well, hey, it is what it is. I can't get mad at them for fighting. But as my job, I have to if I see it. That's why I tell them, hey, if you're gonna fight, I don't need to see it. I remember there was one time these two inmates got in a fight at at the trust camp, and nobody saw them, but they heard it. So I'm scolding one of the guys there. He's like, man, I messed up. I said, well, did the officer see you? No. Okay then. So what you and your buddy need to shut the fuck up and be like, we ain't do nothing. That's it. Because if they didn't see it, what they gonna prove? How they gonna prove you fought? And I tell those guys when I'm down there, I'm like, look, hey, y'all fighting in front of me, I gotta report you. You ain't gonna let us fight? No. I can't. You gonna fight. That ain't an issue. Yeah, hey, whatever happened, but I got to report this. And I do have to stop you, especially if you about to kill someone. I gotta stop you. That's why I tell them, like, hey, the winner gets sprayed with gas. Are you for real? Yep. Winner gets sprayed. So look, but that's the thing. the that panel was just like, man, so we're just gonna let these kids just and we're gonna let the kids fight. We want to stop the fighting, but when they do get a fight, we're gonna punish one over the other. We want to suspend the one, especially the one getting bullied. Look, if it was a simple thing that the bully gets more punishment than one getting bullied, I can see that. But if you get into a situation where the bullied one is getting more punishment than one getting bullied, and the teachers are allowing that to go down, okay, well, guess what? Somebody's gonna now these kids gonna bring guns in there, and now everybody getting sprayed. You know, it goes down to if you're not managing these students. Listen, the teachers are there to teach, but they also there to maintain order. That's your job as a teacher. That's your job as a principal to maintain the order of the school. So it's an environment for these students to learn. And if there's one that don't want to learn, yeah, you do need to get rid of them. Put them in their own school. I don't think you should just automatically kick a kid out for being a bad kid. You need to find out what's going on in that household and see if you can mitigate it from there. And then if it's taught to that parent, now that parent just don't give a fuck, then yeah, then you got to remove the kid from the school. Because again, you can't have this kid at the same you want to help the kid, but at the same time you can't deprive other kids of the ability to learn. So it's a balance in that. But that's what these teachers sign up for. And it's a shame that the community doesn't help these teachers, especially in the poor black areas and probably poor white areas too. Nobody's helping these teachers. The parents are not stepping up and helping these teachers. Like I said, bullying is going to happen. Is human nature. You know, some kid is going to try to show some girl, some boy going to try to show dominance, try to be the alpha in a sense. So that's always going to conflict does have to happen. I agree with Trailer. I agree with David on that. Conflict does have to happen, but we have to be able to be fair with the rules and not show bias, either because of fear, either because we like the person, whatever the reason. We can't have that either because now it's an imbalance. Now students feel like, well, shit, if I can't get help from the teachers, I can't get help from the parents, I can't get help from the principal. Well, shit, I'm gonna take it in my own hands. And sometimes they're gonna bring, like Nichelle was saying, box cutter, maybe a gun. You know, like I said, I was bullied in school. Now, I never thought bringing no weapons. It's just it wasn't prevalent back in my day. That back in that day, either you talked it out or you had to have hands. I didn't have the hands, so shit. I just took a lot of abuse, and that kind of affected me to this day. But it also gave me a little more patience to deal with people until you just don't have a choice, you know. And I think that's what BMT was saying that some kids they they don't view as a big deal, either because the abuse they have at school is probably the same abuse they have at school. I mean, at home. And you do need to teach the kids uh, how to defend themselves. But then, even then, some it don't take. Some, you just gotta push them to. I mean, where they just can't not take it. It's everybody's tolerance level is different. But again, that's where the teacher has to come in. That's where the adults have to come in. And a lot of times when these things are happening, there ain't no adults stepping in, at least the right way, so that the bullied don't feel like they're alone, and so they got to go get this gun. Where the bully don't feel like he has free reign to go after anybody. It has to be some type of balance, some type of order, you know. But that's just it. I just wanted to get that off my chest. It just seemed like that. On one hand, yes, you don't want where every kid is just treated equal and every kid gets a trophy and we all got to get along and everybody got to be treated the same. But at the same time, you can't have it where it's just one sided favoritism towards one kid over another. You have to, if you're going to have rules, then you have to give the punishment for breaking the rules equally. If two kids are fighting, they both have to. If the suspension is supposed to happen for fighting, then both supposed to get it. One kid can't get no suspension, and while the other kid gets suspended. But then it also comes back to parents got to get involved, especially if you going into the uh, public schools. But we know in a lot of these schools, the parents are not involved enough. So it's how do we prevent school shootings? It's here now. The best you can do is make sure that one side, the bullies are not taking over. Make sure we talking to these other kids. Make sure that that's not tolerated, and there will be severe consequences for this happening. And it has to be equally dished out. You can't have one side getting all the punishment and the other side gets nothing. So that's it. That's all I wanted to come on to talk about. Y'all have a good one.